Good afternoon, Janet. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this for us today. So this video is about you yourself who currently has long COVID and some of the struggles that you've been through, and also some of the positive stuff that have happened to help you be supported. So for everyone that's listening, my name is Claire McGarry and I am the Health and Wellbeing Practitioner here at the Trust. Janet, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, my name is Janet Murray and I work in adult therapies, typing the EPRO letters to go out to patients.
Lovely, thank you. So we'll just start with a really simple question. Can you just take us back to when you first contracted COVID, and just a little bit about what your journey's been like since that time?
Right, okay. I got ready to come to work on the 4th of January and I have asthma and I had this cough as I was coming out the door to go in the car to come to work, and I couldn't catch my breath. I just started cough. So basically I decided I wasn't going anywhere, rang the doctor and also ordered a COVID test. My son texted me to say he'd tested positive over that weekend, and so basically I got worse. I didn't come to work. I got worse. We sent the COVID test off. The doctor was very good straight away, antibiotics and steroids. And for some reason, where I live, there was a problem with the post for COVID being posted, because I couldn't go out, because every time I went out I couldn't breathe, and I didn't get the diagnosis till I did it on the Tuesday and I didn't get it till 6 o'clock on the Friday morning, and of course by then I'd got really poorly, really worse. Being a diabetic, I had to literally ring 111 to find out what I could do, what I couldn't do. It was a bit of a nightmare really, because there was no support. Once my son, who lives close by, he's my main support. There was none there because he'd got COVID as well. He was poorly. He's been an asthmatic since he was born, so I was worried about him as well as work and everything else. And it was just, I went to bed at night trying to sleep and thinking, am I going to wake up in the morning? And it was just horrendous. I've had flu, I've had pneumonia before, but it was nothing like that whatsoever. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, to be fair, you know.
And when was that, Janet? What month and year was that?
It was 4th of January. It was first day back after the New Year break, the end of the year, the Christmas break. I had actually asked to come home on New Year's Eve because I had an attack of IBS, which I actually thought was just IBS, but it turns out, because it's not widely known within COVID or advertised as one of the symptoms, what I didn't realise was that was the start of it. The cough was the second bit, when I couldn't catch my breath. But I felt well enough in myself to come to work on the 4th of January, but I didn't even make it out the front door. It was that bad. But again, the IBS symptoms, the gastric symptoms, it's not widely known, and it's something that's not mentioned, to be fair.
So you've talked a bit about symptoms there. So we're now in November, so we're nearly a year on. Would you mind just sharing kind of some of the things that you've had to deal with and the challenges that you've faced? And I know you're still facing now as well, with long COVID.
Yes.
And as you're answering that question, Janet, I'm just going to share some symptoms on the screen that our long COVID support group have put together based on. So could you mind share that with us?
Yes, I can. One of the ones is basically sleep, trying to get to sleep and staying asleep, which you could say is insomnia. There's also my anxiety has gone through the roof. I suffer with it, but really it's got worse. Fatigue. I have to plan an activity and then rest 2 days after it, just so that I don't get overworked or over fatigued. Breathlessness. I have asthma. Nobody knew I had asthma. It was mild asthma. It's now uncontrolled asthma till find out the best solution for it. Hair loss. I lost my hair. I'm still losing it, but not as bad as it was. Dizziness, chest pain, cough, unexplained joint problems, other than, getting older and having osteoarthritis and things like that. There was unexplained aching. I can't exercise. If I do, then that's me for 2 days, and it sounds, as though it's exaggerating, but it's not. You think you're well, you start doing something, you've got a burst of energy, and then the next thing, no, your body's saying stop.
So quite a lot of you can even just look at this yourself, can't you, and just go tick 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 tick.
And
definitely. This was put together by a few members of staff that were supporting within the trust, but I think the common theme is that most people are saying the same, aren't they? Most people are saying all these symptoms that you've talked about that still living with, really. So if I try and just flip the conversation to be a little bit more positive, because I know you've been through a really, really challenging time and still continue to do so. In terms of the trust then, and in terms of kind of some of the support you've been given, can you talk about this that might be able to help other managers and other colleagues that are living with long COVID about the next steps and how to support people better?
Yeah. One of the things that was actually said, and I know it sounds negative, but it is frustrating, is you look really well. And you might look well, and a lot of the times, a lot of people put a brave face on things, but it isn't always the case that they're okay. You can't see what's going on within people's heads or minds or bodies, and visibly you can look well, but it's, and that in itself is, to me, you shouldn't assume, if you know what I mean. From the support from the trust, I have to say that once I got the blended working 50% at home and 50% at work, you don't have that worry of travelling to work and driving tired, which is very positive, and it does work. What else can I say?
Have you found the support groups helpful?
Yes, I have. The long COVID coffee morning, I mean, I've been going since day one, and it's nice to know that other people are having the same sort of problems that you're having, and you're not on your own. From that point of view, my GP, he also recommended me to go to the long COVID clinic, and they're very supportive, and again, they were very supportive in sort of supplying information to give to my managers so that they could understand the problems, and also recommending things be put in place, which did happen. And the support from people who have got long COVID, it really has helped. And I'd like to think that sometimes my contribution in the long COVID clinic, in the long COVID coffee morning, has helped others as well, from that point of view.
It has, and it's just about supporting each other, isn't it? And sharing experiences. And when you came back to work post COVID, so I don't know whether that was January or February or even later, did you have a flexible working, a phase return? Was that?
Yes, I did. I came back in April because my doctor, because I had patches on my lungs and everything, so my doctor said, no, you're not going, full stop. Even though mentally I was climbing the walls because I wanted interaction. And basically he sorry, I've lost track there, sorry.
The phase return.
The phased return, yes. Because I've never ever been off long-term sick ever, wherever I've worked, I contacted HR and asked what the rules and regulations were. At that time, it was just the normal phased return. And it was 4 weeks, and then it was, you could use, if you had an annual leave to take, you could use a further 4 weeks and do it that way, which I did. However, it became apparent that even that wasn't enough. And I know that obviously things have changed, and obviously there are things in place for people with long COVID now. But at the time when I came back, that wasn't the case. But obviously the positive of it is that people, because nobody knows what's going to happen, nobody knows how long COVID's going to take. It could take a long time, a short time. It all depends on you and your body. But it did help, that knowing that you've got that backup there and the support's there. You know, it does help to think, well, oh, I'm being a pain, but I'm not, because I physically can't do it. You know, and the mental side of it as well is, yeah.
So the HR advisors and occupational health have been a real support to you, I think, haven't they?
They have, yes.
And I'm pleased to hear that the support groups as well that we've put on have been really good, and you've had some support from your team and your line manager. So
yes,
like I said, thank you so much for doing this video, and I really hope people listening to it take something from it in an educational way, or even just an aha moment as well. I think it will be really useful for people to hear. So once again, massive thank you from me. Really appreciate it, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.